Hello, everyone. You have entered into That Princess is Fire. Financially independent, retired early. Isn't that right, Meatball? I'm going to give you some ideas here for how to become financially independent so that you can check out the economy and basically live forever off of what's known as passive income. And this is based off of something called the FIRE movement, financially independent, retirement early. It came about from this generation's desire to not have to work until death or 65 and then coast into sunset. The reality is a lot of people are going to be working forever, hopefully by choice, but a lot of them not. And so you should enjoy your life while it happens, but you should also have the things you need while you're doing it. So I'm going to give you an idea of what that looks like. For me, I've been passively retired from the economy since 2019. And my goal was to have enough passive income to take care of my friends and family, or my family first for life, which I reached. And then the current phase is trying to take care of all my friends. And it's going to look different for each of you based off of what you think you need to survive. So without further ado, let's move on. Little Meatball. I got Meatball helping me here. I'll start firing your panties. This whole idea of fire, like I said, it kind of came about from this generation, but blah, blah, blah. What it really means is that we're going to abuse the hell out of corporations and the resources. Oh, a princess. Hi. I just started. You didn't make much. I'm on slide 2. How are you? Meatball's trying to co-present with me. Is that a princess?
This princess is asleep. She looks so cute.
That's okay. That's good.
Yeah, you're the princess.
Yeah, come on
said, yeah, you're the princess.
The princess. All right. Well, I'm gonna move along. So fire. We go. The goal here, everyone, is to obtain enough passive income so that you can check out the economy. Okay. The old model was make a bunch of money, retire when you're 59 and a half, because that's some weird Social Security requirement. You can't withdraw Social Security without penalty till 59 and a half. But a lot of people started realizing, wait, I want to live my life now, and I also don't want to be beholden to a fixed amount of payout that's going to expire. If I retire when I'm 59 and a half and I only have enough money for 20 years, well, what do I do when I'm 79 and a half? It kind of we needed a better model. We needed a different way to think about sustainability and scalability. And so in order to accomplish these objectives, we have to look at this from a different perspective, not work up until we have enough of a nest egg. We have to say, okay, how do we generate enough wealth now so that every year we essentially get paid out enough to sustain our cost of living? And that's going to be different for every person. My cost of living, individually, is probably like $20K a year. But then you add in the princesses and all the other important things that really matter. I don't know. I would say probably somewhere around $100,000. But it just depends. And it's hard to say, but the best thing to do is to use this software called mint.com, which I think got bought by Credit Karma or something. It's an Intuit product. They also make TurboTax. And mint.com allows you to pull in historical data from the past several years of your income earnings. And based off of that, you can look at your spending habits and then extrapolate out, well, what do I think I would need? Also, you need to take into account inflation. Well, the thing is, the government's stupid, and they only report on what's called the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. That only includes things like housing and oil, but I don't even think it takes into account rent, transportation, education, whatever. So take that for a grain of salt. So realistically, I tell people you should be generating enough income so that you get a 5% increase in this each year. Inflation's not 3%, but this is attainable because generally speaking, the market the stock market, the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P 500, they historically return like 6 to 8% per year. So that means that you can hit your 5% growth and keep your wealth going. But you may ask, well, how do you get this wealth to begin with, right? Well, that's where it gets crittery. I mean, it depends on each person. You know, there's some really basic slide. Oh, yeah, let me go to the next slide. So to be a passenger princess, which is what I am, it means that the life drives you around. The life is your oyster and your Corvette, okay? So you basically get to do what you want when you want, you know? You all have known me for just about a year. When's the last time you've seen me do any work? You know, that's the life. But the work that I do is focused on my cat Meatball. She's she's my little assistant, and my princesses, and doing the things that I want. You know, I've asked all of you pretty much early on, money were no object, what would you do? You know, I can say honestly that I am doing exactly what I've always wanted to do in life, and that's what you babes deserve. So that's the whole point of this and why I want to help you all get there. So 68%. Now, how do you make money? There's a couple ways, right? It's like, okay, you have a job, employment. That's a traditional means, make money, save. Then, you know, and this also comes in the form of like full-time employment, but also like gig economy, Lyft, Uber, dancing. Princesses be dancing. And, you know, however you generate income. Now, one of the FIRE principles that I don't really align with, because I'm a lush, they talk about cutting spending. Mint can help you identify that. I mean, reality is, yeah, if you hemorrhage money on stupid shit and you can't save, by all means, but I'm not proposing that you sacrifice anything for this, because it's sort of the anathema of what we're even talking about. You shouldn't just be waiting and waiting until this point when you can spend money. You should be able to spend money now within reason, you know? And so you're going to have to look at what's important to you. You got to spend money on the things that matter and avoid spending money on the stuff that doesn't. And we're going to work on that individually with each of your plans. So, but employment's one way. Okay. Then there's like investments, all kinds of residual, like real estate, the stock market, you know, and within that's a whole bunch of different elements of securities. You know, you've got your index funds. We'll talk about these mutual funds. You know, you've got certificates of deposit, treasury notes, really stocks based off of the actual company. And there's that, you know, and then there's also just like inheritance, but it doesn't really apply to anything at all. But if you get a large amount or the lottery or whatever it may be, this is like the get rich quick stuff. The reality is like 98% of people who get a quick infusion of cash blow it in like 2 years. You know, there's this really sad documentary about the people winning the lottery, and there's also McMillions too, which kind of goes into depth about, you know, the culture of money and how people have a distorted relationship and they don't understand it and appreciate it because they don't ever teach you. And that's part of what I'm doing when I'm doing in a small part to help you all. So awesome. So, but this is how you get paid. Okay. But arguably before or after that, we would want you all to, let's see here. We would want you all to get rid of debt. That's probably more important. That's step one. So let's go. Let's talk about getting rid of debt, because almost everybody has debt, and unfortunately, it's gonna saddle you. A lot of you who pay credit cards can pay upwards of 30% on debt. It's all imaginary. It's all bullshit. But if you're beholden to it, you're not going to be able to invest. You're not going to be able to make passive income. You know, because the math just doesn't work out. If you're only getting, let's say, conservatively 6% of the market return, and really, but the 30% APR means you're negative 24%. It means your money's shrinking every year. So get rid of debt immediately. That's the most important thing, honestly, before even getting money. I mean, you have to get money to get rid of debt, but you feel me. So the shackles of debt slavery. Then we're going to talk about how to make money. Let's see. free yourself from the shackles of economic slavery. So, like I said, debt, damn debt. And here's the problem too. We live in a society that encourages debt. It's based off of these macroeconomic principles of a model known as Keynesian economics, which is BS. It's bullshit. But our government and the world follow this distorted model. And they basically encourage you to carry debt. They think that deficit finance spending is a good thing. Like, oh, as long as your GDP is the same as the amount of debt you carry, you're good. In what universe does that make any kind of logical sense? It doesn't. Because what you're basically saying is that you're never going to pay off the debt. So it's okay to carry it. But bizarre, right? Literally about as wonky as their stupid ass monetary system and the whole nature of that. And we can talk about that after. We'll do a philosophy of money at the end here. So you've got debt. The first kind of debt you want to tackle is this high interest, like credit card debt. This is also known as unsecured. Unsecured means that they can't garnish your wages per se, de facto. Like the government can do this if you owe the IRS taxes, or you have student loans, or an auto loan, which is attached to a lien, or a mortgage, like physical assets, right? That's where they technically could come after you for the money. They can with credit cards. They'd have to launch a sort of civilian complaint against you, or sorry, it's called consumer complaint, and go to court and all. And that happens, but not very often, because at the end of the day, unsecured debt is just virtual. It's all imaginary, right? It's all imaginary. They
Hey, Bess.
Hey, how's it going,
My
princesses?
phone died.
It's okay. You're here now. We're just talking about let me go back. I'm talking about the 3 steps to being a passenger princess.
Okay, Aries said she's gonna brush her teeth and she'll be right back.
Okay, cool. We rolling.
Yes.
We'll go over this later. So first step is get paid. I just talked about that. 3 ways to get paid: employment, investments. Employment also includes gigs, gig economy. It doesn't matter if it's full-time employment, part-time, sex work, sexting, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Dealing.
Yeah, dealing, smoking.
No, I said stealing.
Oh, stealing is good too. Yeah, that's actually part of 3. So yeah, no, first one is employment, or like some kind of income, like from a job or whatever. And then you got 2, which is like investments, like real estate, mutual funds, real estate, mutual funds, index funds.
I didn't keep that.
What's that?
Sorry, Princess Airy was being the food fairy really quick. Let me mute myself so I'm not like.
Yeah, it's okay. Index funds, but unmute if you have any questions. I'm here.
Okay.
Real estate, mutual funds, index funds. Crypto is really an investment now too. It's definitely a high risk, high reward situation, and we'll talk about that in a subsequent slide. And real estate's a really good thing, as well as like stocks and companies. So this is where a lot of people make money quickly. Crypto and like unicorns. So unicorns are like, that's just a fancy way of saying you have $1 billion in revenue. There's a ton of tech companies over the past 15 years, Uber, Lyft, Facebook, whatever, that if you got in early and you bought stock, it would pay out well. And the typical way that people get in is by working for these companies, because these companies issue what are called RSUs, restricted stock units. It's essentially straight up, stock in the company, and it's granted to you for free. There's another type, which is not nearly as appealing, which is basically called options, where you can buy stock options. They'll give you this thing called a strike price. So let's say so I'm at this company Service now, and their stock is a lot right now. It's like $1,100, which, by the way, this is kind of fun. The island of Bermuda, which is awesome. So,
Is that for like a single share?
yeah, which is crazy. This is not typical though. Like Tesla stock, I forget if you look it up now, it's probably $500. But normally they do this thing called a stock split. If it gets up to this high, they want to issue more stocks. So they'll essentially say, okay, let's say that we have 1,000 stocks at 1,100. Okay, well, if we want to issue 2,000, we're just going to half the value of this. Feel me? So then we're going to say, okay, we want to issue 2,000, but the value of this is the same. So each stock then is $550. This is called liquidity splitting. They do this to just like free up capital and get more investors. You know, because if you only have like 100 shares, but everyone already has it, then you can't grow your company. You know,
Okay,
but it's very
that makes
valuable.
sense.
You know what I mean? That's the thing with RadEd. Also that I've been deliberate about. I'm only ever gonna issue like a million stock. You know, like, and that's so the value now could be zero, but that means that if you get in early, yeah, you can be incredibly wealthy. And
Is
you know,
that like the whole point of a lot of them though? Like that you maybe want to get in early to it, or like
oh, yeah.
once it gets to a certain point, there's no real point investing?
Yeah, it's harder to make money. It's kind of like Bitcoin now, right? Like early on,
Yeah.
when I mined that shit, it was 1,000th of a penny. You know, now it's almost $100, right? So, and back then nobody considered it a commodity or
Yeah.
anything. It's just
They
seen
didn't
it.
really like take it seriously.
Yeah, and now they have to because I mean, if nothing else, it proves to you how worthless paper money is. You know, it's
Yeah.
like a computer.
At least it did its job in that aspect, and then it also provided a bunch of money for people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, I believe a lot in Bitcoin and the value in it. It's just the haters that were hating now believe in it, which is really
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Because they have these things now called initial coin offerings. So like a lot of these index and mutual fund companies like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and you know, Wealthfront, they actually now as part of their portfolio wrap in this thing called like initial coin offerings. So they're essentially tying in crypto. Like these companies, they can issue stock in dollars, but they also can issue it in cryptocurrency,
Oh wow.
which is what Coinbase did, which is they manage Bitcoin transfers and stuff. So it's really cool. There's a lot of interesting model, like economic sort of experimental stuff going on. But at the end of the day, this is, you know, the way you do it. And then three, as you say, the other way to make money, I used to call it inheritance, stealing, getting it
Inheritance.
yeah,
I'm dead as
inheriting it
fuck.
from a corporation. No, honestly, a lot of my wealth is from inheritance through Marriott abuse, all the free programs. You know, there's probably a better way. It's not like I am inheriting it, just I'm self-inheriting it, if that makes
We're
sense.
like
taking-
we need to establish a better word for stealing.
Actually,
And I think inheritance is that word.
well, it is. It is inheritance slash. I call it transitive wealth. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that
because,
one works too.
because you're transferring wealth from someplace to another, right? And technically, yeah, you know what? That falls under government programs too, if you want to say. So we're just actually, yeah, this is more of a broad category. You understand? We're just going to say stealing. No, transit. I love stealing from corporations. You already know that.
Yes.
That's why we all get along. You know, it's like be good to people. Fuck these stupid ass companies. You know, inheritance. So stealing, transitive, yeah, that's that category. And actually, I worked all hard. I don't know. I have a mix of this stuff, but everyone's gonna have a different way of getting wealth and whatever works. You know, it's a fucking game. You gotta play it. And oh yeah, torches, deuces. Wait. Okay, now so getting money, obviously, you need to pay off debt. But and that's probably more important because debt will literally cripple you. It'll it's economic slavery. It's gonna hold you down mostly because of the fact that you
I mean,
can't generate.
definitely giving like how they trap people, most of
Oh, yeah.
society.
Right, of course, it's all part of the scheme. You know, it's all part of the system to keep you exactly where you are.
The monopoly game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this at the end. The whole philosophy of the modern economic principles, because it's all designed to screw you, which is why we even have to have these convos. Like, why shouldn't it be intuitive? Like, oh, here's how you make money, you save, whatever. No, you gotta play all these fucking games.
Yeah, because nobody like it's so hard to save.
Yeah, it is, and it's also they want to make it look so confusing as if they're masters of the universe. In reality, it's just a veil. It's just layers and layers of obscurity. So fuck them. That's what I'm here for, just to dice it up. I mean, yeah, you know, we all have gifts, and I would say one of my main gifts is taking tough, complicated technical concepts, trying to make them understandable. I mean, it's hard because the stuff is made to be confusing, but it really is not. It's pretty simple, you know.
I mean, I feel like you've been good so far at explaining stuff. I'm like understanding
Good.
so far.
It's important. It's like you can know everything in the world, but if you can't articulate it, it doesn't matter, you know. So
Yeah.
you gotta get the princesses on board with this. So number two is like get rid of debt, because debt, if it's unsecured credit card debt, after a while, after your teaser rate ends, it's going to be like 30%, right? So that's 30% against whatever returns you're trying to get from the market, which is just shitty. So credit cards, now unsecured means they can't go after you directly for garnishment of wages unless they take you to civilian court or whatever the hell it's called. No, there's like it's how's the term? There's like civil and civil. It's a civil. Hey, you little princess, how are you? They can come after you, but they have to take you to court, and it's like 97% of these cases get charged off. And interestingly enough, the statute of limitations on most credit card debt is 7 years, and it's just completely gone from your record. So some people are like, well, fuck it. If it's like 100K and I know they're not going to come after me and I really need that, I'll just wait 7 years because honestly, it does reset. My brother Jordan had like a 423 credit score last year from a lot of debt. I want to say maybe 40K on charge off debt. I helped him in a year. He now has a 687 just by using Chime, which also shows you how fucking stupid this whole system is, obviously. Because the fact that it's ephemeral and it can come and go based off of just time is silly. But take it for what it's worth. I'm not necessarily, I think you're on mute, little princess.
I was muted because the thing is on it, and I was laughing a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So it'll go away after a certain amount of time, or like be removed without filing for like bankruptcy.
Yeah, bankruptcy is a way. So here's interesting with bankruptcy. A lot of it is actually pointless because it doesn't actually cover secured debt. So this is part two. So secured debt is student loans, IRS. More like you think tangible? It's either the government or a physical thing, right? So you have student loans, you have your auto loan, your mortgage, because they can come and seize the asset through what's called a lien. You know, when a bank has a lien on your house, they basically own you, bitch. You know, is what they want to do. It's all economic slavery, but this here, they can come after you. However, bankruptcy is mostly designed for people that are just like, I want to hit reset now, and I don't want to wait until the 7 years is the statute, or you want to make it so that the creditors just go away. Because like I said, and that could be 7 years of hell if these people are going to send you, because they're going to send it to collections. They're going to then all they're doing is they're selling debt cheaper and cheaper, which is also the most bullshit thing. You know, most debt ends up being 1 penny on the dollar. So if you have like 100K in debt, like they end up charging you off for $1,000, right? Isn't that stupid? And so, and because they literally package up debt, and then this is where it gets in the economic model where they put in what's called a credit default swap, and then they put those in these things called collateralized debt obligations, and it's all bullshit. And then they put these in the mortgage-backed securities, and they're just packaged up. I don't know if have you ever seen the movie The Big Short?
No, Big Shark.
No, The Big Short.
I don't. Maybe.
Watch it. Ryan Gosling's in it. Steve Carell. Yeah, that's actually your assignment after this. Go watch The Big Short. It's really good. No, it's based off it's the true story of the 2008 financial collapse and what caused it. So yeah, The Big Short. I'm writing this here. It's good. It came out, I don't know, like 10 years ago, but it's got a great cast. It's got Jonah Hill, I think. Yeah, Jonah Hill, Steve Carell. Anyway, this will help explain how everything got screwed up. And a lot of this had to do with mortgages, subprime mortgages. But this whole idea of debt is they just package bad assets in with bad assets, and then they call it a good asset. You know, they'll take a bunch of like these credit default swaps and mortgage-backed securities, and then say, hey, these bonds are negative BDB, but we're gonna make them plus PPP, Princess, AAA, whatever. So you got to get rid of debt. 30% is going to work against any attempt to generate wealth, and so pay that off immediately. But to go a step further, since we're talking about credit cards, you need to use a credit card as a 1%er, which means the way that these cards hate that you do it, which is you pay off your card every month and you reap the rewards and the benefits. There's a ton of like credit card benefits. Capital One has like Venture X for travel people. It's basically 5% cash back on all travel, which is amazing. And that's just straight up money. It's like you book a flight, Amtrak, whatever, you know, you just get 5% back. And then there's also other rewards like free travel insurance. If your flight gets canceled or whatever, they'll pay for the entire amount, right? There's also, you get built-in additional warranties. If you buy like an iPhone with your credit card, they give you a year of accidental like damage protection. So if you drop your phone into the shitter or whatever, into a volcano, they'll give you another one, whatever, like they'll do like, they do damage protection. And also the main thing is it's like zero liability. I was talking to Christiane about this because these dumbasses from OnlyFans were trying to take money out of her like checking account and her debit card. And she was able to like prevent that. But the reality is, when it's a debit card, you're responsible for any fraudulent charges, and it could take months to get your money back. With credit cards, the liabilities on the card issuer and the merchant. And it's funny because this all came about actually in 1972, because what's really funny is people were getting screwed, and the government said, hey, credit card companies, you're going to need to be responsible. And so as a result, you know how long it takes for these big companies normally to mobilize and change. Well, of course, MasterCard, once they're told they're responsible, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, Amex, they all get together. And then amazingly, in 2 months, they solved this problem. They built out what's known as anti-fraud technology, which is all of what you have when people call you. Did you make this purchase? You guys fit each other ketchup? That's so cute. What are you eating?
We can only concentrate so long. We had
Me
to have
too.
a short intermission every.
Hey, you don't have to apologize. Like I say, I'm doing this for me, just because it helps me learn, and then you all too. I mean, the more important thing will be the follow-up sessions.
We can't help it. But I did mute myself before because I was like, I don't know if you wanted to hear us eating.
No, I love it. It's all good. This is all for you guys. So it's whatever is of value. I love your eating.
No, this is perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. So like in 72, what I'm saying, these companies got together and they fixed fraud. So all the annoying anti-fraud, like, oh, it's because they had to mobilize because they were then financially responsible. But normally these companies take decades to do anything. Anyway, so all this is to say, become a 1%er. 1.2% of people, that's it, actually pay off their credit card debt every month. It's crazy, right? So 88.8 are just carrying a balance. They're paying up to 30%, and they get the teaser rate. And so if you get trapped in that state where you are carrying debt, the step you need to do, if you're able to, is snowball it. So I call this here, let me go to the next slide here. Yeah, here we go. So high interest debt. If you have debt, snowball it to another credit card. They'll have an intro for like 12 to 18 months teaser rate, 0%. So you move your debt, you do a balance transfer there, and then that gives you time to pay off your debt without interest. So if you're behind or you just don't have $5,000 or whatever the case may be, at least move it somewhere where it's not going to keep adding on more necessary debt, because it's all virtual anyway. It's all bullshit. So do that. And then it might be unconventional, but really I believe this: tackle secure debt. So even though there's more on the line, like they can come after you, the APR is normally much lower, depending on, like, a student loan is typically like 6%, which isn't ideal, but it's not 30%. So yes, little princess.
So like, would that also be considered like borrowing against your home?
So that's actually like equity. So that you're basically
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
refinancing. Refinancing is an interesting thing. It can be beneficial. What you have to really look into with your realtor is, what are the fees associated with it?
Yeah.
That's normally where they get paid, and sometimes the fees outweigh the potential credit line that you get. It really depends on what the market's doing.
Is that considered secured? Secured means
like secured debt. Yes, it is, in the sense that like you still have to pay it back. In a sense, like I mean, either your house is going to generate enough equity to pay back, or if the market goes under, then you're then responsible. Essentially based off the rate of the loan. So it's a gamble. If the market's on the upswing perpetually, then yes, but we're due for another crash. I mean, the thing with 2008, and you'll hear about this in The Big Short, they didn't really fix anything. It's still vulnerable. They really, the only thing that they really did, Obama did, was he created the Consumer Protection Finance Bureau, which essentially is what instituted that 7-year moratorium on debt, among other things. And also, like, it's a lot harder for creditors to actually take you to court and win now. Like they have to prove that you signed the application. My mom actually had to go through this a while ago, and they threw it out because they didn't have proof that she ever signed the application or that it was her. She's smart like that, though. I mean, not like she knows how to navigate it. And anyway, so that's really the only thing that came about. But the market's so vulnerable. As my dad says, it's built on a slippery ass brick shit house. What the hell that means? But
It's true.
it's true. The foundation's flimsy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, so like that's what sounds ABC 1, 2, 3, but no, it's like get rid of this stupid debt because then you can start to save, and that's part 3. But take care of your secure debt because otherwise, like IRS can garnish your wages for taxes. They can come after you for student loans, basically anything that the government manages, because that's how they like to do it. Unless you flee the country, and we can talk about how to use offshore accounts and how to hide your wealth. Anyway, beyond the scope, this is what I
It's
do.
actually step 10 because we all
Exactly.
need to get it together before we leave the country together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of this thing. It's like this. It's called like sovereign state. That's why I want to open Babe Muta, because you can write your own constitution, and it basically says like only babes allowed, etc. Babes and animals. Like no, you declare your own principles as a nation.
Babes in a bed.
Same with economics.
Mhm.
You make your own economy. So it's basically just like prostitution's legal, whatever the fuck you want to do, Meatball's bugging out over here. She really wants to teach the class, except she just told
I
me.
saw her walk by.
Yeah, except she just told me she's a cat and doesn't know anything other than how to snuggle and eat. So sorry, Meatball. Oh, she goes. What a cat! Oh, there she goes up on her tower. Oh, you're so cute. This snow really got wild, didn't it?
Yeah, it's really beautiful out here. I wish we could like transport you.
I mean, I might transport myself on my feet. No, I mean, it looks cool. I'll probably go outside. It looks a little rainy, but now it's going to turn into slush and ice.
Yeah, it's
Which is
gross.
kinda scary. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I got all the tipper tickets. Did you already get them, little princess?
What was that?
I said, did you already get your tipper tickets? Because I got the 6 yesterday.
No, not yet, but we're
I got
taking
you
your
covered.
vitamins.
Oh, aren't they good? I love gummy vitamins because they don't.
Yeah, me too.
You can actually take them. Yeah. But I got you. You don't have to get one. Like I got for the 6 princesses.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Oh my god, okay. Are you coming?
Let's
Fuck
go.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry. This thing's rolling away. This way for it. Rolling.
Like
Yeah, I can't wait.
For,
May when we
With
were
me,
like,
yeah.
but it was so
awful.
overwhelming. Like, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many people.
It was too much.
What happened?
If we're all posted up, we're
Okay, cool. But yes, it's Cassandra's birthday, or Trixie. Trix enormous.
Trixie Miss.
Enormous.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
so that's abused credit card companies. But then we got to talk about investing and saving. As Ricky would say, I just don't understand investments, Julian. Yeah, I mean, they can be confusing. Well, actually, let's talk about, so you should invest first because that's where your returns are, but you should save because nowadays we have a very interesting situation. There are these things called neobanks. If you've ever heard of SoFi, Dave.com, they're basically like technology companies online that use banks as partners in the back end, but they've been able to negotiate benefits that traditional banks don't have, like 4.5% APR on your checking account. This is a company called Wealthfront that I signed up for. That's insane. 4.5%. That's even more than like a savings bond where you basically give the government, you loan government money for 10, 15 years and then they pay you back 2%. This is just, if it's sitting in your checking account, it's 4.5%, which is amazing. But one interesting thing to notice, this is checking. You should have like 3 different types of accounts and they should be at different banks. Mostly, if you're someone like me who like has what people call a spending problem, you don't want to make it easy, you don't want to make it easy to get your money so quickly. I need to buffer myself for a day. So the benefit here is like, okay, checking, I put Wealthfront because they have the high API, but I don't keep a lot of money here. This is what's called your spend account. I try not to keep money here because poof, all gone. So, but then your savings, you also want a high yield account, like say Ally Bank, but it should be different because it'll take at least 1 to 2 days to transfer through ACH, Automated Clearinghouse, which is the old shitty model of banks use to liquidate. Anyway, but different if for no other reason than to slow yourself down or to just have separation of like duties. Like you have to think in terms of that money's not there. The only reason that I'm a functional adult, I'm not doing hooker or doing blow with hookers all day, as my dad would say, is that I just block out that part of my mind that says that I have enough money to never work again. You know, I just pretend Brokeback Mountain. So I only look at so I only just pretend like what I have in my cash account is what I have to spend, and I automate a lot of it. So that's the other part of this too, is like your bills, try to do auto pay if you can and automate like whatever hits your account. That should be like your spending money, or what they call guilt-free spending. I'm never guilty. I love my princesses, but you know what I mean? Some people, you know, whatever. So guilt-free spending. I'm funny, aren't I? No, I can't wait to.
You're the funniest.
Can't wait to take you princesses on the road and you can teach this class with me, right?
I'm excited. Oh my god, that'd be so hot. So.
Yeah, RadEd. This is RadEd 101, FIN101. Because my other class was SDC 1337, my security class, but that's also a joke because LEET, you know, 1337.
Yeah, lead speed.
But this is like FIN 101. Anyway, I'm gonna start this whole thing. Probably get on Coursera eventually. Have like rad education, decent. But I need help with that. See, this is the stuff. I need like someone to get us sign up with Udemy and Coursera and start putting this content on there. You know what I'm saying? But for now, it's YouTube. All right, little princess. Task after this. I'm gonna get you back into RadZen. I want you to go through this recording and like pluck out the transcript, send the notes to everyone here. Does that sound like something you'd be down to do?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know, yeah. Let's just say you make $100 an hour. Remember he like spits. He's like, let's call it 82. Anyway, or no, I don't remember what we said. Good. Yeah, 82. So anyway, yeah, just there's this thing called Clockify, I think. It allows you to block your time, or however you want to do it. Just keep track of the time you spend on this, and then, you know, I'll load you up with. Load you up with capital. No, I have issues. No, here we go.
Me too.
I love you. Yeah, you feel me, because that's the sort of stuff that's like I'm gonna space out and forget to like send this slide deck to people and kind of follow up and set up individual sessions too, because I need to like reach out. And so you could say, hi, this is little HPIC here. We need to figure out your availability to meet with Justin to talk about your personal finance plan. Like that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? And you both can tag team it. I'll double team you. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
No, Eiffel Tower me is what's happening.
We're not gonna say who's where yet.
Yeah.
You get a secret. Yeah. So, all right, investing and saving. This is what you need to know about investments is the market generally rewards you long term. It is a long game unless you are high risk like me. Like if you want to go crazy. So let's talk about like short-term investments. Crypto, you know, I can tell you right now the 6 most like volatile but high return cryptos: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple. Remember Ripple? Yeah, that was pretty cool to find that thing. Let me tell you, the Ripple nipple. Thank you, Christiane. Well, actually, you too, because I was looking at your nips, and then something else happened, and then I dropped my wallet, and it was really funny. So Ethereum, and then Monero, and finally Solana. These are high risk, high reward. Oh, I think I lost a couple princesses. Oh, hey, little princess.
Hey, we lost power.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna finish rolling through this, and we'll run back through once another time.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Do you need anything?
Hold on 1 second. Okay.
Do you have that little power bank?
Yeah. We're gonna focus on charging our phones.
Yeah. Don't even worry about this for now.
It's flickering. It's on right now, so we'll just join back in.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out into the universe that we're not gonna lose power longer than 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm gonna manifest that too. All right, love you,
Okay,
little
you. See you in a
princess.
minute.
Bye. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, power was lost, but let me keep this rolling here. Crypto, short-term investments. Then there's like, stocks, tech unicorn stocks. They can make a lot, but they're high risk, high reward. So really what you should be looking at is long-term investments, things like mutual funds, index funds, real estate. The market generally grows at 6 to 8%. So if you don't have any debt and you're able to generate that each year, you can keep pace and you can go beyond. But you should be putting money away and as you do this. But passively figure out what it takes for you to retire. Because if you think about it, if you put like 100K down and every year it's getting 3%, the future is cheap, so you can run through the numbers with 100K times 3%, like over, there's an APR calculator. It's basically like, let's say, APR return calculator. Let's say investment calculator, on investor.gov or whatever. So let's say you take $100,000 and you do it over 10 years. Let's say that your return rate's 6%. And okay, let's say every year you add another $1,000. Well, that means that, holy crap, you have contributed, let's see here, 0. Okay, so we're gonna say if you didn't contribute anything at all after 10 years, you'd be getting an extra $79,000. But as you put more money in continuously, you get even more. So the future's cheap. Invest. And then you have to save. So like I was talking about with Wealthfront, checking, you should have a checking account. That's separate. Savings, and then a money market. That allows you to directly invest in the stock markets and stuff, to buy shares, to buy index funds, to buy mutual funds. Also, your other instruments you need to take of note, you need to get, if you have a 401k from your employer, that's a straight up match, like for whatever you contribute. It's a retirement sort of vessel. So if you put in 5%, some employers do dollar per dollar up to 5%. So if you're able to put in $5,000, the employer's going to give you $5,000 for free. That's free money. You got to do it. And it should be set up as a Roth. A Roth means that you're paying taxes as the money goes in. But when you withdraw, you're not taxed. And there's a benefit there because it's cheaper, because there's less money. You're paying, say, for example, you're paying 30% on $1,000 or whatever. So you're going to pay, $300. That's way better than withdrawing at whatever 30% is on this huge sum, which might be 500,000, right? Because that's what you're going to pay taxes on. So less. So in a similar way to interest compounding over time and generating wealth in the future being cheap, taxes are also cheaper too. Because they're less and less. Over time, your money's going to compound. You're going to pay interest on a larger principal, and then you're going to get screwed. So that's that. So Roth, and then you also want an individual retirement account. There's limits to that. I think the max is like $22,500 per individual, and then a couple is like $50K, whatever. But max that out, because that's also a tax sheltered sort of vessel annuity. So Roth, like I said, is you pay taxes in and then taxes withdrawn. The other way is pre-tax, but Roth is the way to go. You want to maximize what you're able to put into retirement. Because then you'll be able to use that amount residually for passive income, So an example of how passive income would work, it's like, okay, let's say that you're putting in, you're going to work forever, or I am, and you're going to have some income, but maybe you don't need to. But if you're generating, let's say it's 10% on that, like $100,000, that means like you have $10,000. If you can live off that or less, it's free, and so on and so forth. And you still have your underlying balance that's generating you wealth. But then the 110 will also become 10%, and then you have 11,000. So the more you can contribute quicker and the more you can generate, the more passive income you'll have, because the market's going to continue to return this rate, generally speaking, for perpetuity, So as long as your rate of return exceeds your spend rate or your inflationary rate, you're going to be making money over time for free. And that's the whole point. and making your money is making money, which is the whole last slide. And so I already talked about the credit cards, turbo rewards, open high interest checking, say Wealthfront, that's the best. Then high interest savings, the Ally, and then the third one should be money market, some kind of credit union or whatever, like Virginia Credit Union. Separate them out so that it's not as easy to move money, you know, because if you have a spending problem, like some people say I do, I don't want easy access to the money that's supposed to be sort of off limits. You want to give yourself a buffer of a few days because the future, because then it will force you to slow down and think deliberately about if you really need to spend money and buy this thing. So that's helpful for me. And then we were talking about Roth IRA, long-term or low-risk investments, index funds, mutual funds, real estate. And then you got your short-term, your unicorns, which are your billion-dollar companies, your cryptocurrency. There's high-frequency trade, and then there's all these other stupid securities that contributed to the 2008 collapse, but are still high risk, high reward. You know, there's like you can basically leverage. It's called a margin. You can bet against stocks. This is what Bear Stearns did. And anyway, it doesn't matter. But they created things like derivatives, credit default swaps, mortgage-backed securities, collateralized obligations. There's money to be made. They are worthless. You know, they're basically packaging dog shit and cat shit and wrapping it up into moose shit. So not super like wholesome, but it is a way to make money quickly. And with that, I'm going to end this, and we're going to move on. Then we're going to have individual sessions. So follow up with Little Princess Oriana, since she's my chief of staff, helping through this, and she'll get you scheduled with me one-on-one to talk about your individual goals. You know, to get on fire. Because the point here is you want to make enough money. I will help you become retired in 10 years. So passively, where you can work because you want to, not because you have to. It's the ultimate goal. It's the ultimate dream. Oh, hi, Little Princess. You guys back online?
We made it back.
Okay, cool. I was just wrapping up the end of this deck, which we kind of already talked about. So next step, I said that ladies need to get in touch with you to schedule the one-on-ones with me for like an hour or 30 minutes to talk about your personalized fire plan, how to become retired from the economy in 10 years or less. And I know it works, but my brother did it in 6 years, followed my playbook. He's 29. He doesn't have to work anymore. So, you know, and he's a ninja. And it's going to happen. It's going to work. So they got to hit up the H pick, but I'll open it up here in the recording. If you have any other specific questions, if not, we can end this here and go back to our snuggling times. Meatfall, she's bugging out.
How many one-on-ones can we have?
I mean, as many as you need, but you really don't. Oh, I'll have a 2-on-1. I'll do it. No, I mean, yeah.
What are the options?
Well, the options are just are a collective time. You know, it's like I will invest as much time in you as necessary, as long as you're like a good steward of it. You know, because that's the thing. I don't believe in time because I'm a hippie, but I believe in not wasting people's time. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me the other night, but neither here nor there. You know. No, just have respect for it. It's like I'll give you all the time in the world as long as you're not like pissing it away. And I know you, but I would say that if you after an hour with me, it's basically relativity. It's like gonna feel like a month. So we're gonna do a 30,000 foot elbow drop deep dive into your situation and go through those steps, which is, you know, pay off debt, make money, and then make that money make you money. That's really it. It's a 3-step plan. You know, yes, Little.
I have a question about consolidating credit card debt.
Yeah.
Don't you have to pay to transfer it to another card?
Not if it's balance transfer.
Yeah, not with these new cards. The promo is free balance transfer up to a certain amount. Like normally it's like whatever 10K.
That's one thing I need to do.
Yeah, although that's the first step, I'd say. It's that, but also making money
thought
compared
that
to like.
you had to pay.
What's that?
I always thought you had to like pay to consolidate it for some reason. So then I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to pay a bunch of money to like transfer it, but I guess I didn't know.
No, it's free. You got to do it lickety split because otherwise you're just wasting money on these stupid companies. I think.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just collecting a bunch of.
Yeah.
It's only one of
Extra
my
money.
cards. My other card is still interest free.
Okay, cool.
They're like-
Well, you can move it to that, or you could sign it for.
Well, that one's not high enough. Like I think I need like
The limit?
$4,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So new cards. Capital One has a lot of great perks, and it's a good entry level. You know, Amex is like elite. You know, as you get up to spending 100K or more and stuff or whatever. Those are nice, but they all have perks. You know, go to creditcards.com or Nerd Wallet. They'll go through the best credit cards based off of like cashback reward or travel rewards or whatever the case may be, or cash advance. There's a lot of like, you know, you can use your credit card for a lot of things, even though it's BS. You got to play the game, right?
Yeah.
Fuck the system or it'll fuck you.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I didn't get a credit card for a long time because I was like, I'm not playing your fucking game. But
Yeah.
like, it's really hard to build credit if you don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. I
Wow.
actually didn't have a credit card till like less than 2 years ago when I bought a house, after I bought a
Yeah.
house. Because I avoided it because I don't believe in it. But I do believe in exploiting these companies and benefiting from the rewards program
Yes.
they offer. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got it. But yeah, this is going to be good. I'm excited. I just, you know, you princesses just need to just be flying around with me everywhere and traveling on my level. So I want you all to be pocket pools princesses here and get you there in like 10 years, like at most. But everything's different. Like I'm going to work forever because I want to and it's good for me. But it's different when you have the choice versus the necessity, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people just have no choice and they have to work till their back's broken in half. And
I
that's
feel like
no
even
good.
when I retire, I'm still gonna be like hustling.
Oh, of course. You're never going to just like sit around and eat flapjacks and flick your bean
That'll
around.
be me.
As fun as that sounds. I do the bean around here, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one making
Imagine it.
Bling, bling,
Imagine
bling,
when this gets on the internet. It's like Dr. J. Like he lost his tenure because he's flicking the bean.
Oh no,
What a
not
critter.
Dr. J flicking the bean.
Flicking your bean. I'll give you a crew cut. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God! Just wait till you see the photo album of the pics I extracted from that little mini porno we did that night. Where I was like, oh,
It froze on your face like.
all right, oh. See,
Oh.
I think the internets are all fucked up. Oh, my face is still frozen.
Yeah, it was really funny. Wait.
Oh,
hold on.
well, you know, yeah, my photo album's almost done. I have like all but I have almost 1,000 photos in there now.
I want to see your face with bigger.
Oh,
uh,
hold on. Oh, I'm gonna stop sharing. That's the thing. Stop presenting.
You're done with the deck, right?
Yeah, done with the deck. All
Yeah.
decked out on the deck of the dick boat. Hold on.
Done with the deck, not done with this.
I can see my face. Okay. But look, I can actually move this camera forward. Boing. Yeah. it's like-
Oh
I got-
my gosh.
this way better.
Is that a convex lens?
It's a pretty. It's a wide angle lens. Yeah, it's this. It's
Fisheye almost.
this gamer thing, but like, yeah, I can move it here there. But I gave my 4K camera away to Marta, unfortunately. Bitch. Piss. Anyways, but no, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'll get another one. You're so cute, you babes. It's amazing I even made it through this without getting distracted, but it's partly because you weren't online part of the time.
We
Right.
we
Because of the
were
power.
trying our best to behave.
Yeah, you're good, but I love it. But yeah, we'll follow up here and we'll go through your individual plan. But thank you for attending, you little princess. And then I'll get your RadZen account kind of re-provisioned, and then I'll share out the stuff so you can kind of start helping plan out my calendar and get these follow-ups. Sound good?
Sounds good. Just like I do really well with like tasks written down. So just like
Oh yeah, I'll send you a whole like Google Keep thing. We'll collab, and stuff, and we'll go through stuff. And I appreciate you, little.
we appreciate you. Thank you for doing this.
Happy to do it. Are you just gonna be knitting, being cute all day?
I
What kind
have
of
to
stuff?
ask and do something with my hands so I can listen better.
I don't
Yeah.
even think we can like leave. So
exactly. Yeah, you're out in the country. I'm gonna probably get out there in my flip flops, just kind of slip around a little bit. No, just kidding.
if
No,
it stops raining, I might like lay in the snow and do a
Oh,
little like a snow bath instead of an ice bath.
oh la la. Oh man,
la,
yeah.
la.
I wish I could get out there.
Messy though. I'm like thinking about bringing that shit in.
Yeah,
So-
the good thing is it's 35 degrees, which means that it's not gonna be ice. Like it's not gonna keep becoming ice. There's already ice. It's gonna start this melting. But
yeah. Yeah.
32 degrees Celsius, Julian. You know that's what you gotta
Celsius.
Celsius. This is my weed, my dope plants. But I love you, princesses.
I love you.
Mwah. Love you.
Bye.
Soon. Best.